Hello everyone, just thought I'd do a quick unboxing video and probably a build video going along with this for this brand new 8 3.0 Truggy. Excuse me. I got this from a friend of mine, John. It's his kit. I'm going to build it for him. I have quite a bit of time now that I've broken my leg and I've been off work for quite a while now. So he picked this up and he asked me if I wanted to build it, and I said absolutely. Now we've already opened it up. He dropped it off a couple nights ago. He was kind of excited. Both of us were. We opened it up just to, look inside the box, and he ended up taking the body home. I'm not sure if he was getting it painted or if he was going to switch to electric and maybe sell the body. Still up in the air right now. So anyway, like I said, the box is already open. The body's missing out of it now. But anyway, we'll get to it here. Very nice. This box is very heavy, by the way. And I cannot believe they packed the whole Truggy in parts in this little box. If anybody can remember the 8 2.0, it was built as a roller, and I mean the box was huge. I don't even think I could fit it in the camera angle here right now. So let's turn around sideways here so we can see. Like I said, this has been opened already. Just the body is missing out of it here. So here's the chassis. Very nice. I do like the gold anodized. Some guys don't. They prefer the black. I really like the gold. And it's got the TLR logo etched into it there. Very nice chassis. When we first opened it up, I thought, wow, this chassis looks quite a bit narrower than the 2.0. When I put it up to my 2.0 Truggy, the chassis is, I believe it's identical. But it's the same width and the same length. Not sure if there's a couple more holes in it, but I guess I'll find that out in the build. And then other than that, we've got the Gen 3 radio tray, the side guards in this bag, and looks to be, got the sway bars in here and the pills for the inserts for the hinge pins, and some fuel tubing, which I'm not sure he's going to run nitro or electric. And we've got our shock springs in here and our shocks. This is bag E. What else we got? Bag B. Looks like bag B is pretty, quite a bit of stuff. Drive shafts. Looks like to be one whole front clip is what this one looks like. And then bag D looks like it should be the whole rear clip. Nice thing I like about this is they actually give you the covered wheel nuts here. Very nice. And what else do we have in the box? Bag A, we've got your fuel tank. Looks like you've got your tools. It's got the front brace in there. And just some screws and stuff in there. Bag G looks to be all nitro stuff. Looks like you got your clutch bell. Got your clutch in there. Air filter, engine mount. And bag C, got the brake shoes. It's got a lightened, spur gear in here as well. That's kind of nice. Even though I think there might be an electric kit, so John probably won't be using this stuff. But anyway, and then we got your manual and stickers, of course. One thing I did not see in here is the wing. I'm pretty sure this kit should come with the new wicker bill wing, unless it's in one of these bags, but I do not see it here. And I know we did not take it out of here. I think may have to get hold of Horizon Hobby and find out if they can send us one. Anyway, I'll get started on the build anyway. I'm sure if I call Horizon Hobby, let them know what bags I have, see what bag I'm missing. It looks like I'm missing a bag, probably with the wing and the wing mount in it. Doesn't seem to be in here. I'll get the instructions open once I shut the video off, and I'll find out. And hopefully get started on the build, and I'll do updates periodically here. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've got bag A open here, and bag A, got your fuel tank, which I'm not going to be installing. Bag A1's your tools, and then we've got A2. This consists of your steering servo saver. It's got the top brace and the front brace in it. It's just the plastic parts in there, and it's got your shock tools in there as well. Bag A3, it has your turnbuckle for the steering link, and as well as the Ackerman arm screws there. And we've got the bearings and the screws to build the steering. And then bag A4 is your Loctite, which is your black grease, and the metal parts for the steering assembly. And I'll be putting this together, and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so now got bag A complete, which was the steering assembly, and that's basically all of bag A that I'm putting together right now. I believe John's going to be running this one electric. So anyway, one thing that was in bag A that I did notice, and I don't know if you can see at all, but there's a 16 on this shock tool. The other piece seems to be the same as the 2.0, but that is kind of a nice feature. So if you're running a 2.0 and a 3.0, you know which shock tool to use. So I thought that was pretty neat. One thing I do notice about this, there are bearings in this arm here, and man, does it ever feel nice and smooth. And there is absolutely no play in these linkages at all. That is a very nice feature. I wish the 2.0 had that. Anyway, on to the other bag, bag B. So here's bag B. This one looks like it's going to take me a little bit longer than bag A did, that's for sure. So here we have the shock tower, which is a very nice looking shock tower. And it's got the drive shafts, front shafts, and it's got the adjustable camber plates there. And then we've got the steering knuckles there. Got the A-arms and the front diff case and the front bumper in bag B3. Bag B4 we have our diff, and it comes with 7,000 weight shock oil. And B5 we have the TLR wheel nuts in there, and looks like the front axles and the bearings. And B4 looks like we have the sway bar links. And then bag B7 we have our turnbuckles and our ball and ends here. So. And then we have screws in this bag here. So I'll get started with that, and I will be back once it's all built. Just want to point something out that I thought was really, really cool. The group screws on these A-arms are pretty inventive. They've got a hex on this side, and it's a hex, and that's how you install it with a 3mm tool. Put the screw. If I can get it here. It's got 3mm on this side, and then to adjust it once it's in, it's got a hex on the inside of the bolt. Really good idea. I do like that drip screw. Just wanted to point that out. Okay, here it is. The front clip's all built, and didn't have too many problems with it. The one issue I did have was the rear hinge pin holder right here would not fit the frame. It was about 1 millimeter too narrow. When I tried to put it all together, it just would not fit. A little bit frustrating. I had to take it all back apart And what did I end up doing? I ended up grinding down the rear hinge pin holder with a Dremel on both sides. Just a clearance, so I could clearance the frame to get it on there. Other than that, the front end went together really well. Even no problems with the diff. When I bought the heavy-duty diffs for my Losi SETE just recently, the holes were not drilled or machined big enough for the screws, and they were a pain to get in. But anyway, some of the nice features this has, like I mentioned before, the hard anodized wheel nuts. Those are a real nice option. And then the adjustable hinge pin holders are a real nice option as well in this kit. Also, it has a aluminum, I'm not sure if you can see that there, but it's an aluminum servo saver horn. That is a real nice touch. Other than that, I don't see too much difference between that and my Losi 2.0. Oh, and other than the drip screws, they have a button head on the bottom, which will be really nice and long term. I would imagine there's going to be a lot less wear on those. Other than that, this build's going pretty good. And I'm going to skip bag C, because that's the middle diff. This is John's kit. He's going to be running this electric, so I don't have all the electric conversion parts like his motor mount and stuff here. He's still got that on his 2.0 truggy. So I'm going to be moving on to bag D, which is the rear clip, and I'll get that out and get that built, and I'll be back. Here's bag D all laid out. So in this one we have our shock tower, obviously, and the adjustable hinge pin holder, and also the two rear shafts in there, and the sway bar link. And then the bag D2 has all of our plastic pieces. It's got our A-arms, it's got our hubs, our wing mount. Also has the rear diff and the rear chassis brace in there as well. And this piece here, bag D3, has our diff in it. And they have included, which seems really weird to me, I'm not sure if we can zoom in on it here. I won't be able to read it. But it's 7,000 weight diff oil for the rear. I'm not sure if John's going to be wanting to run 7,000 weight in the rear of his truggy. I know in the 2.0, myself, I've always run 3,000 in the back, or even 2 if it was a really tight indoor track, such as Tilsonburg, which is the race coming up here, which John's going to run this for the first time in, so I better talk to him about that. Anyway, bag D4, it's got your hinge pins, your out, and your axle hubs, and just a bunch of other metal pieces in here. And then the D bag, bag D, kind of funny, but anyway, it's got your upper links and a bunch of screws in there. So I will get started on this, and I will be back after it's built. Okay, I'm back, and I've got the rear clip ball built. Build went fairly smooth, and also I did manage to install the center diff. John will just have to replace his motor mount and the top brace once he gets that on. One thing I did find out, which is a common problem apparently with some of the new kits for the 8.3 3.0 truggy, the drive shaft is too short. When it goes all the way forward, it just barely misses. So that's unfortunate. I have to get a hold of Horizon Hobby, or maybe John will get a hold of the hobby shop where he bought it and see what happens. The only other thing was missing in the kit was the wing. Bag H was missing from our kit. So he's already in talk with the hobby shop about that one. Other than that, the back clip went together really well. The hinge pin holders, unlike the front, they fit very well. I didn't have to take any material off. Compared to the 2.0, it looks very similar. One nice thing they do include is for the 2.0 diff case, they do include the aluminum inserts there, so you do not have to buy those, which was a pretty necessary upgrade for any of the 8 2.0 platforms. Other than that, it's got the dog bone style center shafts now, which are supposed to help in handling. And then the new shock tower. It's got some new mounting positions. But yeah, it's on to the shocks now. I'm going to get those built. Actually looking quite a bit forward to doing that. The shocks have been updated and never put together the new shocks yet, so I'll get to that. So here we have quickly a look at what's in bag E. So this is the bag for the shocks. So the first bag we have the shock bodies and the shock boots, which are supposed to be updated. They've got kind of a hard, like an O-ring style bottom on them. So that's supposed to prevent them from ripping, apparently, from what I understand. Then we have the shock springs, which are nice. They're tapered. So the shocks can only go on one way, and I would presume they would be more progressive that way. And then the next one, we have the shock shafts, the bladders, the pistons. It's kind of weird that this kit doesn't come with any optional pistons, not unless I'm missing them. They just give you 4 pistons for the 4 shocks. One other nice thing about this kit that I've noticed building it is it doesn't have the nitride, the gold coating anymore. They have a different nitride coating on them, which I find, well, we'll see. Hopefully it'll be better. I know from experience the nitride, the gold, it wears off quite quickly, I find. And then we just have the hardware and then the O-rings here, so I'll get building the shocks. Okay, everyone, so finally finished the build on the truck. You got the shocks built. I can tell you the shocks are really nice, really easy to build. Some updates that I did find with the shocks, other than the fact that they're 16 mil as opposed to 15 mil, they do have X-ring style O-rings inside, so there's 2 of them. So essentially there's 4 sealing surfaces to keep dirt out and keep the oil in. So this should help with anybody that had any problems with their shocks weeping or leaking a little bit. Another nice thing that I did see is the shock boots. On the end of the shock boots it's almost like an incorporated O-ring which hugs the shock shaft. So when you put your retainer, your spring retainer on the bottom, it no longer goes over the rubber boot. Because every time you wanted to change your shock fluid or bleed your shocks or anything like that, when you took the spring retainer off, the boot would normally rip. So now, it's a nice clean design, and I think they will fit on the 2.0 shock, on the 15 mil shock. I'm not too sure. The next time I rebuild my shocks on my 2.0, I'm going to order a set of these just to try it out. Other than that, the build went fairly well. The only issues that we did have with this kit, for one, bag H was forgot. So bag H would contain the wing, so so we have no wing with this one right now. And also shock shaft, which is a common problem on the 8T 3.0. In some of the newer kits, they got released with a shock shaft that's too short. Not too sure if this fits the buggy or not, but anyway, I have to get a hold of Horizon and get them to send us out another one. One other issue that I did have in this build, right on the bottom here, the rear front hinge pin holder did not fit over the chassis. It was probably about 1 millimeter off. Nothing I could do to get it to fit in. I actually had to get the Dremel out and Dremel some material off each side of this. Probably, like I said, probably about 1 millimeter. Not too sure what was the issue, if maybe it was the anodizing, the coating was too thick, I'm not too sure, but anyway, other than that. But yeah, I'm really excited for John. He's got this kit here, and hopefully he'll let me run it back to back with mine. I'm going to want to see the differences. One thing I did notice, the steering geometry is really nice. It looks like it will turn a lot better than my 2.0. And other than that, everything's pretty similar with the 2.0. I know there's a lot of changes, like the arms are different, the shock geometry is different, the towers, shocks themselves, but it almost looks like the arms will interchange from each, along with everything else. And the chassis seems to be about the same dimension, so there's no reason, if you had a 2.0, if you didn't want to spend the full, $600 or $700 to upgrade this kit, you could essentially maybe, slowly as things go, replace your arms, replace your shock towers, replace your shocks, and probably the front steering system. And I mean, I can't see it not working on the 2.0. All in all, this is a really nice kit to build. It took me a little while. I don't have any power tools, so it's a lot of twisting with the wrist. I've never built an 8-scale kit brand new before, so this was my first one. But anyway, give this back to John. He will get his electronics in it. He'll be running e-Truggy this year with this. And like I said, hope I get a chance to drive it. Thanks for watching, guys.